a teenager, it's pretty easy to get distracted, especially when we're doing something we don't necessarily enjoy. Our thoughts may wander as we hear different noises coming from around us, such as the blare of a TV, people talking, or music playing in the background. Some distractions can be easily prevented, but others not so much. That's why it's important to be prepared, but even then, we can never be certain. Distractions cause major damage not only to us, but to others as well. This summer I was asked to babysit for a family with 5-year-old twins who were a boy and a girl and a little 2-year-old boy. And at first I didn't really think much of it, mostly because I'd had lots of experience babysitting those ages of kids before. But I had no idea it would be as bad as it was. That babysitting job was probably the worst I'd ever had. The minute I met the kids, I knew that it was not going to end well. They were in absolutely horrible moods. They were exhausted, cranky, and on the verge of completely falling apart. They hadn't taken their naps for the day, and they spent all of the day before playing with their grandparents and cousins at a water park, so they were extremely tired. It was almost impossible to play or do anything with them, because one wrong move would either end with them fighting, whining, or crying. I tried playing some games called Hyperdash and Guess Who with them, but both ended horrible. The two twins just ended up fighting with their younger brother because he wanted to play and they didn't want him to, which only made the little boy really upset. And the twins would also get upset at each other if one of them wanted but the other one didn't. And so it was just a complete mess. So with that I decided that maybe games weren't the right choice because it just causing problems. So I decided to do a science experiment to make this goo kind of like a slime called oobleck. And that I didn't really think that would cause any problems because there was no winner, but it still did. The kids just wouldn't listen to me how to make it, and so they just like grab supplies and like throw them everywhere, and it just was making a huge mess. But finally, even with that big struggle, we made the oobleck and they loved it. They were laughing and smiling, but unfortunately that only lasted a few minutes. It wasn't too much longer before the twins were at each other's throats again, just fighting, and they were getting oobleck, like they were throwing it at each other, and then the little boy was just getting oobleck all over himself and on the floor, and so it was just making a huge mess and just causing so much problems. There were just so many mixed emotions going on everywhere, and so I decided it was time to clean up and time to make them lunch. So I cleaned everything up, and then I popped in a movie for them to watch while I went into the kitchen to make what the mom had left us, which were these little macaroni bowls that you cook in the microwave. I had never made them before. I'd always just made macaroni on the stove. So I just kind of briefly read through the instructions, but I didn't look at them too closely because I really just wanted to get the food made as fast as I could. So I tore the lid off and took out the little cheese pack, and I just threw it in the microwave and set the timer. And then I left the room once again because the twins were fighting and arguing in the other room. I don't really remember what they were fighting about, but whatever it was, it distracted me from doing my job, which was to make the macaroni. And now I really wish that I had never left, because when I came back and just entered the kitchen, I mean, I just about had a heart attack. I mean, my jaw just dropped to the ground. There was just this thick gray smoke just pouring out of the microwave, and this horrible stench of burnt plastic just filled the air. And the room was just filled with this smoke, and it all kind of was like a blur almost. And the smoke would just burned my eyes and my nose, my throat, just to breathe it in. And I mean, this just really freaked me out. And at first I thought that I'd started a fire in the microwave, so I like ran over to the microwave and opened it up to check. Thank goodness there wasn't a fire, but the macaroni bowl, it looked nothing like it did when I first put it in. I mean, it was just like this black blob. I mean, it was just completely burnt, and it didn't look anything like macaroni anymore. And so with this, I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just kind of took it out and threw it in the trash. And then I just started like scrambling around the house, trying to open as many windows and doors, turn on as many fans and vents as I could, just to try to get the smoke out of the house. But it just wouldn't. I mean, it just was like staying still in the air. And by then it had spread all throughout the house, and the kids had started to smell it, and they started to ask me questions. You know, I didn't know how to answer them. I mean, how do you tell a little kid that you just about started a fire in the house without scaring them? I mean, there's no easy way to tell them that. So I just try to calm them down. Like, I try to stay calm, and I try to calm them down, even though really on the inside, I mean, I was just freaking out. And I really just need someone to talk to and get advice from on what to do. So I tried calling the mom, but she doesn't answer, which just freaks me out even more and just kind of scares me because I am alone in the country. That's where they lived. And so I call my mom, and just the minute she answers, I just completely break down. I mean, I was so overwhelmed and tired from what all had happened, just from the kids being acting horrible all morning, and then that. I mean, it was just way too much for me. But thankfully, she helped me calm back down, and I was able to, babysit them for the rest of the day. The mom came home about 2 hours later, and I was just so relieved that she came home, because I don't think I could have babysat them for any longer than I did. It was definitely just one of the worst babysitting experiences I've ever had, but I definitely learned a lot from it. I learned how to correctly make microwavable macaroni, for one thing, but I also learned just how hard taking care of kids really is, and that it is really easy to get distracted, and those distractions can cause a lot of damage. It just really reminded me that being a parent is a hard job, and that we should be more appreciative of what our parents have done for us. And also that distractions cause a lot of damage, and that we should all be more careful to not allow ourselves to become so easily distracted, because we have no idea the things it can cause. I mean, it could be something small, but it could also be something huge that we would regret for the rest of our lives, like texting while driving and then killing a person. So it's just really important to stay focused on what we are doing, and to not let ourselves be distracted by the things that can stray us away from things that we need to do, things we need to achieve, like our goals and our dreams in life.